Good evening, it's 6:30 p.m. and time to know all that happened in South India today with me, T.S. Sudhir, on Up South. Our top story today is from Kerala, where the bar bribe scandal has become more murky. Biju Ramesh, who had earlier accused the Kerala Finance Minister K.M. Mani of taking a bribe of 1 crore rupees, has now released audio tapes of his... Right, Rajiv, is that the way you also see? Do you agree with what Mr. Thomas Isaac says? And two, is Oommen Chandy doing the right political thing by backing someone like K.M. Mani who's under a cloud?
See, the UDF government which is in power, which Chandy heads now, has a 3-seat majority which you might call wafer thin. And even if, now the current demand is that the other Kerala Congress faction led by Balakrishna Pillai, now since he had also come out against Mani, they've been demanding that he should be ousted from the UDF. But even if he goes, there will be a loss of just 1 seat. So they still have a 2-seat majority. So the government will definitely survive. But the thing is, at what cost is the question?
Finally, Mr. Isaac, elections in Kerala are only 1 year away. Does this kind of a corruption scandal give you the momentum?
Yes. Elections for Kerala are 1 year away. And day by day, the image of the UDF is taking a beating. Definitely, people are disgusted with this government and looking for an alternative. And we on the left are going to the people telling we are the alternative. We will deliver a corruption-free government. Not only just corruption-free government, a government that will work, a government that will take Kerala forward. So that is a campaign that we are involved. And the new development gives us much more greater confidence on the outcome of the electoral battle that's going to come.
Right, Mr. Thomas Isaac and Rajiv P.I., thanks a lot for joining us on this debate on Up South. And as we speak, Keralites definitely have a sense of humor. A Facebook page has been started pledging money to Finance Minister K.M. Mani so that he does not resort to corruption of this kind. So far, the page has received about 7,900 likes and over 1,000 comments. So definitely some kind of Gandhigiri taking place there in Kerala. News now from Karnataka. Dr. Syed Ismail Afaq, the homeopathic doctor who was arrested by the Bangalore crime branch from Bhatkal and Bengaluru in connection with the terror plots, has actually was trained by the ISI in Pakistan. Not just that, senior police officials have told Headlines today that he was pretty much senior in the Indian Mujahideen hierarchy in Karnataka. Rohini Swami has a story.
Top sources in Bengaluru police say that Dr. Syed Ismail Afaq, the homeopath picked up by the city police, was trained by the ISI in Pakistan. Police sources say that Afaq was an expert in making circuits for bombs, and he was also responsible for setting up Indian Mujahideen's modules in India. Afaq reportedly held a high position in the Indian Mujahideen. Sources say that Afaq's terror connection had become a family problem and his brother had cautioned him against such activities.
I am satisfied with the progress of Yav.
Two others who were arrested along with Afaq, among them the police say Saddam Hussein supplied gelatin sticks. Abdul Subur, who is Afaq's cousin, was an expert in internet and social media communication and allegedly received training from the ISI. During the raid on an apartment in Fraser Town, police seized a large amount of gelatin sticks, circuits, detonators and timers. Police also found a radio receiver, which Afaq claimed could be used to eavesdrop on police conversations.
Not only the question of one organization. We are not able to identify the particular organization. The investigation is still going on. I don't want to name any organization for this. It is not only the coastal area. We have to be alert in the entire Karnataka. It is our duty that we are doing it.
Afaq also visited Pakistan twice since 2011, during which time police believe he was trained by the ISI. With Rohini Swami, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Let us go across now to Rohini Swami, my colleague who joins me from Bengaluru, also former IG Intelligence Gopal Hosur. Rohini, if I may come to you first, when you were in Bhatkal last week, you were reporting about the fact that a lot of material was perhaps planted at the homes of these accused. At least that's the impression the locals gave you. But if you are now going by this story, it would seem that many of the family members, or at least some of them, were aware of what these 4 accused were up to.
Well, that's true, because many people who I spoke to in Bhatkal said that they had made the allegations that possibly those things that they found, those explosives they found, were planted. But here, the senior police officials who I've been speaking to, they're part of the investigation also, they said that there is no reason for them to plant anything, for the simple reason that they are looking at the safety and security of the state or the country for that matter, and they do not want to pin it down on any particular person. Now, there are instances. There was a letter that has been written by Afaq's brother to Afaq saying that he should withdraw himself from such kind of activities. He should not be in communication with the ISI. That also is in the possession of the police. Apart from that, the police have in my interaction with them, shown me also the devices that have been found. Interestingly, even a receiver found in Afaq's house where he was listening into police conversations. Now, the point that is being made by them is that the explosives that have been found and the kind of evidence that is found clearly indicate that these 4 people who have been found have direct involvement with terror activities.
Right. Mr. Gopal Hosur, the police here obviously believes that it has managed to break the backbone of the Indian Mujahideen, at least in the coastal area around Bhatkal. But given the fact that normally one module does not know about the existence and operations of another module, how safe would it be to assume that all is now well?
The Bangalore City Police no doubt have been able to unearth a module of the Indian Mujahideen, an important module which was so far not in their radar. But I think persistent efforts have yielded information, and that they have been able to round up a very important module. But one module being neutralized is not enough. There are a large number of sleeper modules available all over the country, and each one of them needs to be identified and brought to book. Now, this Bangalore module, what they have arrested is no doubt an important module. But these modules work through circuit breakers, so that if you catch hold of one module, the information of the other module is not available with them normally. So there is a need for eternal vigil against such cells.
Right. Mr. Hosur, stay on with us. Hyderabad MP Asaduddin Owaisi making an important point that Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah visited Bhatkal on the 27th of December, pointing to the fact that it was a major security lapse. Let's listen into what Mr. Owaisi had to say.
No, it is not a question of giving a bad name. The question that one should ask is that how did the state intelligence allow a chief minister to go over there and group of ministers to go over there along with ex-prime minister who was there? How did they fail to come to this conclusion which they have come? I am surprised that after the chief ministers and the ex-prime minister's visit to Bhatkal, this raid was done. So I see, this is not something which was done immediately. There must have been certainly follow-ups. They must have been certainly doing recce and the IB agencies. But why did they allow the chief minister and the ex-prime minister to go over there?
So, Mr. Gopal Hosur, Asaduddin Owaisi making the point that it was a security lapse to let the Chief Minister of Karnataka and many other ministers to visit Bhatkal, while the police was perhaps aware that these kind of terror elements are operational in the Bhatkal area. Would you agree that it was a major security lapse?
Absolutely not, because the Chief Minister should be able to travel freely across the length and breadth of the state and maybe across the length and breadth of the country, however threatening a situation could be. There have been instances where the chief ministers have gone to severely riot-hit areas. I know of prime ministers going to Jammu Kashmir and going to Punjab at the height of militancy. So I don't think so there is any security lapse. And the police do follow all the protocols when an important person visits a very vulnerable strategic area. And in this case, I am sure the police would have taken all the necessary precautions. And it is just not right to conclude that it has been a security lapse.
Right, Mr. Gopal Hosur and Rohini Swami, thanks a lot for joining us with that perspective from Bangalore. Staying with news from Karnataka, former Karnataka Tourism Minister and the mining warlord of Bellary, Gali Janardan Reddy, has finally got bail. He will probably get out of jail in Bangalore sometime tomorrow. In fact, the bail comes with several riders, among them that he cannot visit Kadapa and Anantapur in Andhra Pradesh, and of course he cannot step into what former Justice Santosh Hegde of Lokayuta described as the Republic of Bellary. His passport has been impounded by the court and he should participate in all investigation and cannot seek absence from court through his lawyer. He was arrested in 2011 in Bellary. Joining me now from Bangalore is my colleague Pratibha Raman. Relief for Janardan Reddy, definitely, Pratibha, but that's really not our concern. But his political career seems to be finished. Are his former political friends in the BJP keeping a distance from him and likely not to kind of give him any kind of leeway or any kind of position within the BJP? Is that what his political future looks like? Pretty bleak.
Well, in terms of his political options, Sudhir, it seems absolutely slim and very, very limited, because as of now he needs to really lie low, because going by the reactions of the BJP, it seems like though they are happy that he has secured bail, but they wouldn't really take a chance getting him back into the party fold, because getting him back, going by the changed image of the BJP as well as Modi's promise to make sure he has clean candidates and that he would clean his staple, getting him back into the party fold would be extremely suicidal for the BJP. But if you have to compare Yediyurappa's case as well as Janardan Reddy's case, in terms of Yediyurappa, he did seem to prove in some cases that he was a victim of political vendetta, whereas in terms of Janardan Reddy, it is an open and shut case. So neither the Congress nor the JDS would actually go by that strategy of getting him back into the party fold at this point in time.
Right, Pratibha. Thanks a lot for joining us there with all those details. Time for a break on Up South. After the break, it was a day of Run Sachin Tendulkar Run. 7 people have been killed and 30 injured in a bus accident in Hoganikal in Tamil Nadu. The bus carrying 64 passengers lost control due to brake failure and fell into a deep gorge. And finally, it was a day of Run Kerala Run in Thiruvananthapuram and various other cities of Kerala. And the star attraction in Thiruvananthapuram was former cricketer Sachin Tendulkar, who turned up to celebrate the fact that Kerala was going to host the 35th National Games starting the 31st of January. And Sachin Tendulkar also posed for a selfie along with many delirious fans in Thiruvananthapuram. We leave you with these images.